Hey, checking out some potential clients' websites right now. We just had to do this vlog because we are getting so many people coming into our office and they're frustrated because their websites aren't functioning the way they expect. This might sound familiar to you. Is your website not showing up in search? Or you're not getting leads, you're not collecting emails, you're never getting phone calls from people that say, hey, I found your website on Google. Well, it's because you've probably done some things that are really wrong or not done the right things to make sure that your website is an effective part of your marketing strategy. So today, we're gonna share 5 tips, some things that you can do to make your website more effective. So let's get started. Our first tip, this is pretty simple. It needs to look good. It actually needs to look like a professional built your website. Whether you did it on your own or you hire somebody, it needs to have a fully professional feel. Why? Because customers look at your website as a way to determine your authority, your expertise, and your credibility. And if your website's not projecting all 3 of those things, guess what they're going to do? They're going to jump over to the website of one of your competitors. Think of it like this. When you go out to a job interview for a high-paying position, what are you going to wear? You're going to dress up? You're going to look like you just rolled out of bed. I'm going to go with you're going to dress up because you know the value of a first impression. And your website has to reflect that same exact concept. So as a small business owner, you need to figure out how to leverage the latest trends and what's looking cool online and on mobile. You also need to make sure that your website is on brand. It needs to be a direct reflection of who you are, what you want people to think of you and your business, and the services and the experience that they're going to have when they work with you. The second piece of advice we have for you is to keep it simple. You want your website to be very easy for visitors to navigate. They need to be able to find what they're looking for very quickly. Because if they can't, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go find another website to search through. There's been a ton of research on how people comprehend websites that they visit, and people actually scan your site, which means they're not really reading it. They're looking for very specific information. So you need to make it easy for them to find that. You can do that by keeping your website simple, clean, and organized so that visitors have a great experience from the very second they get to your site, because you don't have much longer than that to keep them there. So a few little tips for making sure that they have that experience when they get to the homepage of your website. 1, make sure you avoid large blocks of text. Instead, use things like call-out buttons, bullet points, icons, things that are simple for people to look at and find what they're looking for. Also, simplify your navigation. Overwhelming menus only distract people and confuse people. You don't want to have more than 6 items at the most in your top level navigation bars. Again, make it easy for people to find what they're looking for very quickly. And then finally, don't be afraid to use white space. Separate some of those photos and texts and call-out buttons, and don't overwhelm people with too much information on that homepage of your website, because again, they're not going to stick around if they're not having a great experience from the second that they get there. Our third tip is really important. You need to make sure that your website is easy to find. In the industry, we call that SEO, search engine optimization. It can be pretty complicated because it can take a lot of knowledge, strategy, and time. But there are a few basic things that you can do to help your website show up in search for the terms that people are looking for when you want them to come across your business as a solution. So one of those is to add an XML sitemap. What that is, it's a background file. Humans don't use it, but the search engines use it in order to be able to understand the structure of your website. It's very important. If you have a WordPress site, there's a great plugin called Yoast, and it'll create that sitemap for you. You also need to think about optimizing all the images that you use on your website. You see, search engines do use the speed at which your website loads as a ranking factor, and having big files, which are typically those image files, on your website, that actually slows down how quickly your site will populate for a visitor. If it's slow, that's going to reduce your SEO. If it goes quickly, it's going to be a benefit to you. There is another WordPress tool that we frequently use for that called WP Smush. You can use that tool, and what that will do is reduce the size of the files without reducing the quality of the images that you're using. Another really important thing in terms of the user experience, which is what these search engines want to be good, is to make sure you're removing any broken links from your website. If there's a broken link, someone goes to an error page, they're probably just going to hop right off your site. So make sure you don't have any of those issues on your website. You also want to make sure that you're adding a privacy policy and a terms of use and conditions to your website. You'll usually see those things down in the footer of the website. What that does is the search engines are looking for websites that are trustworthy and credible. And those two things factor into that so that the search engines find your site to be more legitimate. Make sure you have those included. And then finally, meta tags and meta descriptions. Now, these are things that get added to the back end of your website, but when someone searches, they'll actually see those descriptions pop up in the search results, which is going to make it more likely that if you have relevant content to their search, that they're going to click through and go to your website. The more click-throughs that you get, the higher you're going to rank, because these search engines like to look at factors such as clicks and visitors to your website to help you improve your rankings. Our fourth tip is to use a call to action on the homepage of your website. Basically, what you want to do is guide your website visitors into taking the action that you want them to take. Maybe it's purchasing a product, maybe it's reading something, maybe it's submitting an email or being directed to a valuable download. Whatever it is, you need to make it very obvious. Again, this is creating a good user experience and making things very simple for your website visitor. As an example, we have a client called the Rate Experts, and what they do is they help their customers to get better rates on their car loans. Pretty simple stuff. So imagine that you go into Google and you type in better car loan, and the Rate Experts website shows up, and you click on that. Within seconds of visiting their website, a box is going to pop up that simply says, apply for a loan. Nice and easy. That's exactly what you went there to do, and they're making it nice and easy for you to follow through that desired process so you can become a client and they can get a better loan for you. A good call to action is going to create a better user experience, but even better than that, it's going to create actual leads that are going to make you money. We are already at number 5. This one's easy. Provide social proof. So here's the concept. When someone comes to your website, they want to get that feeling that, hey, if it's good enough for everybody else, they must be good enough for me too. So how can you do that? Well, through a couple of ways. One great way is to provide testimonials from real clients that are saying wonderful things about what it's like to either work with you or to purchase and utilize your products. In those testimonials, if possible, use photos of actual clients. It's going to build up credibility and trust. Again, consumers believe what other people are saying about the brands and products that they want to use, so make sure you're leveraging that. Another thing you can do is to provide logos of some of the better known clients or brands that you're working with. Again, when people see something recognizable, the mentality is, oh, well, if they're working with them, they must be good enough to work with me as well. So at the end of the day, the idea here with social proof is to provide credibility. And so one other thing that I want you to always keep in mind, and this is the social media side that you know always gets me jacked up, is to always use social sharing buttons. And there's two reasons that I want you to do that. One, you want people to see how many times other website visitors are sharing your content or that particular website page. When they see that a number of people have done that, they actually feel compelled to be part of the group and to share it as well. And it also, those buttons make it nice and easy for people to share your content out to their social media channels, driving new leads and referrals into your website, because that's further social proof that you are awesome and that people like your stuff, like to work with you, and like to use your products and services. As a small business owner, I know how tough it can be to run your business. Get out there and network, do your sales, do your marketing. All of those things at the same time can be really overwhelming. By having a great website, it will do that work for you. You'll find that site will pull in leads and referrals and opportunities without you having to do all the tugging yourself. So it's really, really important that you make your website a top priority, that you invest time and money into making it work properly and creating the best user experience possible. As always, we are here to answer any questions that you guys might have. Leave it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you're not missing other valuable content as we put it out here. And if you're looking to create an overall marketing strategy, be sure to visit our website at thinkbiggolocal.com. I've got a really comprehensive workbook there for you for free, helping you to develop your social media marketing strategy with tips along the way for optimizing your website, drawing leads from online from the people that you don't have the time to go out and physically meet and touch. I hope this was valuable to you, and we are looking forward to sharing our next piece of content with you in just a couple of weeks. Have a great day.